Hello and welcome everybody to the Dirty Lou Studios on 22 Park Street, Lewiston, Maine. Yes, thank you. This is live from the Dirty Lou Comedy Night. Hey, let's give it up. Let's give it up. Want to thank everybody for being here. Super cool to have everybody here. Very positive vibes, and we're pumped to bring you some funny people. So let's start the show. We have Sarah.
Hey, you guys. This is like a much nicer version of my living room. Can I take this couch when I go? It's really nice. How's it going? Good. This place is super cool. I've never been here. It smells like lavender. Right? That's what that is. No? Okay. Before we get started, I have something really important to tell you. You ready? My dress has pockets. Right? You guys don't give a shit, but every one of you women in the audience is like, fuck yeah, she has pockets. I love pockets. All women love pockets, and I'll tell you why, all right? Because in the 1700s, somebody, a man, I'm guessing, decided that women don't get to have pockets anymore, right? Men kept things that were unsavory in their pockets. They kept chewing tobacco and guns, cocaine. They kept all kinds of things in there. But it was decided that women, witches, kept spells and charms in their pockets. Yeah, and that's why we don't get to have them in the 1700s. And then for a really long time, we didn't get to have them, right? So because Temperance kept by herself down by the river and talked to her cat, I don't have a place to put my chapstick. I feel like that's unfair, Nathaniel, really, right? Pockets did make a comeback, right? You guys remember Leave It to Beaver. June Cleaver always had pockets in her little house dresses. You guys are way too young. You don't remember that? Come on. TV Land, some of you millennials probably don't know, but us Gen Xers sat at home by ourselves just watching that shit, wishing June was our fucking mom. My mom worked at a bank till 6. She didn't bake bread. That's what those ladies kept in their pockets, right? Fresh baked bread. Yep. The keys to their husband's station wagons. Their opinions. Those were in their pockets. I'm just kidding. Women can't drive or have opinions. It's just silly. No. So I had a pretty big year. Yeah, I just had a birthday, which wasn't the event that was big. I actually got a divorce this year. Yeah. Right. Yep. And my gynecologist retired, you guys. I'm really sad about that. I know. All right, so the two men have been looking at my vagina for the last 20 years. I've moved on to greener pastures. Right? What do gynecologists do when they retire? What kind of hobbies do they have? Finger painting? I don't know. I don't know what they do. It's gross. I'm sorry. What do they do? People have been really nice about the divorce thing. I was really lucky. I had a beautiful 20-year marriage and fortunately probably a lifetime friendship, which is awesome. And I have to say that it's in the settlement agreement. I know. I actually have to say that because he's here. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. People have been really good, though. They've been offering a lot of advice. Like, everybody likes to give you advice when you get a divorce. It'll be okay. It won't always feel like this. You'll find someone new. What I really wish that people would tell women when they get divorced is that men are the fucking worst. Can you just take your hipster beanies and your mustaches and just go have a seat for a second? So what I have found, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term, is that men have this thing they do called negging. Have you heard of this? Does anybody know what this is? So this is a thing that worked when we were 5, right? I'm going to pull your pigtails on the playground, and that means that I like you, right? Even when you're 25, women are like, oh my God, he's so mean. I love him so much. He never calls. When you're 45 years old, you have seen some shit, and you are done with negging, right? Right? I had a man tell me after we ordered dinner one night, he was like, you don't look like the kind of woman who would order a cheeseburger. What does that look like? Who is that woman? Who doesn't like a cheeseburger, for fuck's sake? Do I look like the kind of woman who says she's going to go to the bathroom and then just doesn't come back? This is what she fucking looks like. You can keep your cheeseburger and your toxic masculinity. I don't need either one. I'm good. Right? I'm all set. I actually had another man tell me, you're really in good shape. You're really attractive for a woman your age. I know, right? I'm just gonna look at the time. I'm gonna scuttle on to Beano in the rec room because that bitch Marge is not gonna hold a spot for me, and I've already missed chair yoga today. Seriously, a woman my age, really? I guarantee you that I can get an erection faster than that guy can. That guy over there, that guy over there, that guy over there. I have no problem. It's not hard. Right? Seriously. It's going to be easier to find a new gynecologist. I did a show down in southern Maine recently, and nestled in a beautiful strip mall between a family dentist and a family eye care place was a gynecologist's office, and it was just for women gynecology. Things have changed in the last 20 years, and I fully understand that, but as far as I know, by its nature, gynecology is just for women right now. And that might change, and that's okay, but I'm just saying, like, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah. Yep, new gynecologist and a new therapist this year. Yeah. The new therapist was treating me for social anxiety. Get really nervous in public settings, large crowds. This is helping. Thank you all for being here. Yep, and I'm also what she calls a chronic people pleaser. So what that actually means is that I am simultaneously terrified of all of you, and I want you to love me more than anything, right? Yeah. So I have a new therapist. Her name is Carol. I don't know what it says about you when your therapist fires you, because that is what happened. My therapist left me. Something is fundamentally wrong with an individual when their therapist is like, I don't know if there's anything else I can do for you. But the new therapist, Carol, she seems to think that I suffer from PTSD, possibly brought on by a childhood trauma, and adjustment disorder. So basically what that means is that combine that with my anxiety, I wake up in the middle of the night wondering if my childhood friend Juanita is still mad at me for hitting her in the back of the head with a dart when we were 12. That was her childhood trauma. No. The PTSD, she's onto something. I talked to my mom about it. And I'm not saying that being dropped into the middle of northern Maine, where the average height of an adult is that of an Oompa Loompa, was terribly hard for a 14-year-old who's 6 feet tall. But it certainly wasn't any kind of a picnic, for sure. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I have been this tall since I was 14. And I truly am 6 feet, so if anybody needs me to social distance measure for them, I'm happy to just like lay out on the floor, no problem. I've also had these boobs since I was 14, but nobody ever brings those up, and I don't know if it's because they think that drawing attention to someone's physical features might make them uncomfortable. Maybe, I don't know. I do work really hard. I do see the therapist. It's helpful. You got to work on your shit, be a better human being, right? But one of the things that she recommended that I do is to find practices that actually calm my anxiety, right? So she recommended meditation. Anybody here meditate? You guys smoke? Yeah? How do you do with that? Does it work for you? Yeah? When I close my eyes, I think about horrible, horrible things. Yeah. So meditating doesn't work for me. When I close my eyes, I think about things like, do spiders really crawl into your mouth while you're sleeping? And if so, how many have you swallowed? Probably a lot, right? Yeah. Tried meditating, doesn't work. I'm happy that it works for you. That's really good. I exercise a lot. I go running. During the pandemic, I realized that I talk to myself quite a lot when I run. Does anybody else talk to themselves? I also talk to the neighborhood cats. Yeah? Oh, good. I'm not alone. I was thinking I might have to talk to Carol about that, too. Phew. No, I talked to the neighborhood cats. I was doing hill sprints one day, and there's the same cat, and I say hello to him every day. And then one day I was like, is he giving me side eye? Is he judging my form? That son of a bitch. You know what, Mittens? I don't tell you how to push things off of tables. You don't get to tell me I'm swinging my arms too much. I said some things, and Mittens said some things, and I don't run in his neighborhood anymore. Yeah, no. One thing that I really enjoy is yoga, right? That's definitely good for relaxation. But I find the number one thing for me, and maybe for you folks too, for meditation and relaxation, is actually day drinking. That works really well for me. I have combined those two things before, yoga and day drinking. It worked out okay. Really, the only position I learned was the one-night stand. I'm just going to have to say. He preferred the downward dog. And in the end, we're both just like, nah, I'm going to stay single, right? Just praying it's not a child pose. A woman my age, after all, right? Thank you guys so much. I have been Sarah Poole, and I'm going to bring up your next comic, the affable and lovely Mr. Ben Roberts.
Let's give it up for Sarah, everybody. Golly. This is fucking dope. Right? I'm Ben Roberts. I'm from the exciting town of Leeds, Maine. All right, so you guys have been there. Yeah, so we got a hill in the center of town with a monument on it. It's called Monument Hill. Right? Fucking no-brainer. Other things, we're a simple town, and if you got to rock a piss, you got to rock a piss. Whether you're a dude or a chick, we all got to worry about the same things when we're rocking a piss in Leeds, Maine, or even the country. We got to worry about poison ivy and Uncle Frank. He doesn't take kindly to people shitting in his pot farm. He's got to keep that organic label, Who knows what you've been eating? It's weird. Uncle Frank and all. So, I happen to be a bartender. I got the night off for tonight. I'm excited. A nice thing about being a bartender is you get to work with the public and you get tipped. And sometimes you get tipped in special tips. And I'm not talking about that tip, guys. I'm talking about the tip, So I was minding my own business one Sunday afternoon. This threesome of people comes inside. And they're like, we're fucking starving. We've been tripping for 3 days, and we want some water. And I'm like, these are my kind of people. I promptly greeted them, sat them down, got them their water, asked them what they wanted. There was one lady who had half a shaved head, and the other side was dreadlocks. And the other dude, he was a little shorter, had glasses. He was wearing a tie-dye t-shirt. And then there was this other dude, approximately in his mid-30s, I estimate. And he was quiet. He was tall. He was stoic. He's like 6'4", walking in with a cane. He got a cheeseburger. They got a cheeseburger. The DJ, he got Mountain Dew because he's been spinning for 3 days. He needed a little caffeine to get himself going. And I'm like, so these guys have been tripping for 3 days. It means they had drugs. Let's see if they have more drugs. So as I was promptly tabbing them out, I was like, hey, you got any more of that LSD? And they're like, for you? Yeah. And I'm like, hell yeah. So on the way out, we made an exchange. They gave me a tip. It's 30%. That's really freaking nice. And then they gave me 2 brownies, which promptly gave me cotton mouth about 2 hours later, and the LSD. And as I'm walking back in the bar and they're walking back out, the tall stoic dude who hadn't said a damn thing while he ate his cheeseburger, drank 2 glasses of water, stone cold looked me in the eye and said, bro, be careful. We trip all the time. Just be careful. So I'm scared to take this drugs now, So I put them away at home. I just stored them away, right? And, typical single guy. Would you believe that? Single guy up here. This lady, she's like, hey, I'm going to come over and we're going to eat some mushrooms and we're going to drink some beers. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I go through my whole fucking trailer and I pick up shit. And as I'm picking up a dirty pile of laundry, like my trailer's so old, there's like cracks in the walls. And I open put the clothes in the washing machine, and there's like air coming in from out of doors. But I still clean the shit out of it, right? Threw everything in the washing machine, threw everything in the sink, washed dishes. Started tripping with this chick. Life's good. And she's like, you know what'd be good? If I had some LSD. And I'm like, I got some LSD. Or do I? So I ran through the whole house. Couldn't fucking find the LSD. Of course, I'm tripping on mushrooms. So it was a little intense. Long story short, I didn't find my LSD. So now I'm worried. Where'd my LSD go? And I'm like, am I going to wake up and the cat's on the ceiling? Because it took the LSD or because I took the LSD without knowing it? Anyways. I go home, we had a good time that night. We drank some wine. Life's good. She went on her way. I went to sleep. Next morning, doing the rest of my chores. There, in the bottom of my washing machine, was my LSD. Fuck. So I took the LSD and started blowing bubbles and tripping. It was great. It was a good, clean trip. Yeah, I had to hit that one. But, so along the lines of drugs and stuff, I do like the legal drugs, and being a single guy, like, one thing I'm lacking lately is the endorphins from sex. So I'm like, what if you could get, like, prescription vagina? Right, guys? Like you just tell the doctor, I've been lonely, I need a little pick-me-up. I mean, they give you Viagra. Least they could do is give you a one-time use vagina. Well, needless to say, we know there isn't any one-time use vagina. But ladies, let's flip it on your side of things. You ever have that friend, that girl who's just angry all the time, and you're like, she could just use a good hard fucking. Like, what if that Karen could use a good hard dick? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if Karen needs some dick? Prescription dick. Just as long as everybody's picking up their one-time use vaginas and dicks and everything, not leaving around like these masks, I think we're all right, right? But then, like, how do you, like, pick up the prescription, right? So, like, you're at the pharmacist, and you're like, hi, Mr. Johnson, to pick up my prescription. Oh, Mr. Johnson, let me take a look here. Oh, Mr. Johnson, I see you got some prescription vagina up here. We happen to be all out of your vagina that you're looking for, but we got some coming in on Monday. We can give you a call. Does that sound good? Freaking A. Like, but think about it. It's a good concept, And, I'm just going to keep going with the drug run because it's fun. I worked at a credit union. Oh, yeah, exciting, right? I got an exciting life. And handling money. Did you know that there was a study that said there was drugs on money? Well, I was having a pretty bad day. It wasn't harvest season, so we weren't getting the secondhand fumes off the money from the weed. But I took my draw, and I tapped it out, and I scraped up this gnarly line. There might have been some pubic hair in it, whatever. But my study showed there was drugs on money, too. And there's a bunch of fucking weird people out there because I popped a boner, started crying, my nipples started lactating. Fucking weirdos. But, so like I said, I did work at a credit union. It was great. Worked with the public. Again, I just like pleasing people. And I had this one demographic that really was fun. And it happens to be like the little old lady. The Betty Whites, sweet little old ladies. And so I performed some very good member service, which if you know the difference between banks and credit unions, is a bank, you're just a number, but a credit union, you're a member. Of course, somebody thought of members, and they were thinking dicks, too. So anyways, I provided her some exemplary member service. And after I, gave her a receipt and told her have a nice day, she stepped back, and she looked at me with that twinkle in her eyes and said, if I was younger and had more money. Guess what, Grandma? I see you're a snowbird, and I could use a vacation. I think we can work something out. But I got a couple of questions. Are those hips insured? And do those teeth come out? Oh. And on that, I'm going to leave it at that. My name is Ben Roberts. You guys have been great. Thank you, Terps. Thank you, Dirty Lou. Let's give it up for your next comic. He's from the exciting town of Brownfield, which is next to Whitefield and Greenfield in the Tri-County area of Mossy Oakfield. Let's give it up for Mr. Jake Jacobson, everybody.
You brought the asshole. Keep going for Ben Roberts. The Muppet that Jim Henson never took credit for right there. You guys doing okay? It's nice to be here in the Matrix. Glad you guys are okay, because I'm not. Feel like I'm bipolar, like half the time. The other half, I'm pretty good. Thought I was depressed, so I started looking online at the symptoms, and it was like inability to focus, unable to complete tasks, and there were like a bunch more. Thought I was codependent, but I'll just leave that up to you guys. Was in denial for a while. At least somebody told me that. I didn't think so. Been accused of being passive aggressive, but you know what? It's fine. You wouldn't fucking get it anyways. But I actually got to the point this time last year I was suicidal. Thankfully, inability to focus, unable to complete tasks. So if I die up here, it's about fucking time, right? I mean, look at me. Look like a camp counselor that wasn't invited back, right? Look like my ice cream truck is currently being held as evidence. Some sort of criminal proceeding, which is bullshit, because why the fuck can CVS sell all the ice cream they want and I can't make a living selling drugs out of an ice cream truck? I mean, CVS, as far as I can tell, is an acronym for their 3 top-selling items, which are cancer, Viagra, and shit. And why is it I can walk straight down that center aisle, get a prescription to cure whatever I have, and if I've got $1.99 in my pocket on my way back up that aisle, I can pick up enough fat, sugar, and salt to get it all back? Here's what I go into the health and beauty store for. Going to Rite Aid the other day for a 6-pack of beer, half-gallon of ice cream, and I asked the woman behind the counter, yeah, it's always a woman behind the counter, but we don't have time for that in this particular joke. But I asked her for a pack of smokes. She said, can I see your wellness card? I don't get it. I was brought up Catholic, but we don't have time for that in this particular joke. Suffice to say, I wish I was brought up Buddhist, because right now my parents would be out to dinner with friends bragging about how I've made absolutely nothing of myself. The one thing it did lead me to, though, is it led me to become a ski patroller, because I figured out early that if I had a friend that would go up skiing, come up north skiing, and if I went with him skiing and learned to ski, I didn't have to go to church on Sundays. So I kept going, and I kept getting better and kept getting better. And eventually, I became a ski patroller, which is great, because I believe every kid should know at least one guy wearing a cross that's not trying to fuck them. Did I make something up? Should I tell my Boy Scout joke? Never mind. I don't know. I get confused. I mean, Supreme Court actually ruled, Citizens United, that money was equal to free speech, that you could take as much money as you want, give it to any candidate you want, buy the motherfucker, it doesn't matter, protected free speech under law. And I was pissed, and I had something to say, and I was fucking speechless. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I don't have ambitions. I mean, I found out that TV critic is actually a job. So I'm going back to school to kill my fucking guidance counselor. But I have ambitions. I have ideas. I want to produce a TV show. It's called Tiny House 5 years later. Huge fucking divorce. All right. Got another one. It's called Iron Chef Mother-in-Law Edition, where you try and cook a gourmet meal while your mother-in-law follows behind you, cleaning up after you and putting away things you're not done yet. I want to be the guy at Trader Joe's that decides what gets dipped in chocolate. I want to be the lifeguard in a think tank. Hey! Too deep. What are you fucking thinking, man? I want to be the hype guy in the rap group. You know the guy, not the guy that raps, not the guy that plays the turntables. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the one guy that does nothing but walk around stage going, what? Getting paid in fat stacks and bitches and hoes and gold chains. Rather than being the fucking douchebag that does it for free every fucking day. What? Fucking kidding me. I don't know. Here's what I want. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I'm a grown man wearing Crocs. But here's what I want. I have ambitions. I have ideas. I have desires. I want to live in a planned community nestled in suburb anonymity. Just a quarter mile off the interstate, short commute to a job I hate. Give me a quarter acre off a cul-de-sac with a lawn out front and a pool out back, where I can sit on the deck and enjoy the view of my neighbor sitting on her deck too. Let's make it something lacking all originality to suit my corporate personality. And if I come home drunk, it should take some time. Figure out which of these places is mine. Park my burgundy Toyota Camry. Not maroon, it's burgundy. Next to my wife's SUV. So knock down some trees, parcel up the land, and make way for the real estate developing man. Slap up some houses, put up a gate. Name it for the animals that had to vacate, like Fox Run or Deer Ridge. I love weed shows because you tell a joke and then you hear or the Eagle's Nest where my boss lives. I could manage the down, probably handle the payment. If it'll show the whole world that I've really made it, then I'll sleep in on Saturday and stretch and yawn. Spend my day taking care of the lawn. But then on Sunday it's off to church. Pray to the Lord about my net worth. I got 2 car payments and a mortgage to cover, a Visa, a MasterCard, and Discover. Thinking about getting an American Express so I can accumulate a little more debt. Suburban survival. Don't mistake it for greed. I got the Joneses next door to tell me what I need, like a DVD and a microwave oven. When all I really need is a little good loving. Times are tough, I'm not getting enough, so I'll fill in the void with a little more stuff. while I'm biding my time, waiting for the day when I can cash in my IRA and buy a piece of paradise or, at a minimum, nice 2-bedroom condominium way down south where the weather is fine and I can take up golf and get ready to die. Like I said, you got to take it from where it's coming. Think about it this way. It's like I hear like women are talking about vaginal rejuvenation. Have you guys heard about this? And I'm not pointing any fingers here. But apparently women of a certain age are getting a little nip, tuck, little, shall we say, neighborhood beautification going on. And it's unnecessary as far as I can tell. Like I said, I'm a grown man wearing Crocs, and it's the same concept, really. Once you felt the couple on the inside, who the fuck really cares what they look like? I'm Jake. Thanks for listening. Your next comic coming to the stage is running a wonderful show down at Thompson's Point in Portland. Next show coming up October 20th. Some tickets still available for that. Get on that. It's a great venue. It's a great show. He's a great comic. Give it up for Marcus Cardona. Guys, give it up one more time for Jake.
Thank you also, Dirty Lou Podcast for bringing this all together. This is awesome. Hell yeah. I haven't socialized in a couple months because, but I've been having a hard time socializing with people. As a comedian, people expect me to be super social, and I do not know how to do small talk right now. It's real weird. Are you guys making new friends, or do you guys just stick with your friends, right? That's pretty much the vibe. That's really it. My big thing now is I just ask people, like, what their vaccine is. Like, clap it up if you're a Moderna person. All right. Okay. There's some money in Lewiston. Sick. Any Johnson & Johnson people? Okay, we got some one-shot. We got one-shotter. We got one poor person. Buy her drinks, Moderna people. Do we have any Pfizer people? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pfizer supremacy. FDA approved, baby. I actually don't care what vaccine you got. Like, in all honesty, I was waiting for the vaccine to come in suppository form. So, whatever your opinion on the vaccine, you could just, like, shove it up your ass. You know what I mean? No, it's been interesting, man. No, but in all honesty, if we don't have the same vaccine, I will just walk away from the conversation and tell everyone the chemistry wasn't right. That's just how I feel about it, man. Yeah. I am a native Mainer. I'm from Buxton, Maine. Before the pandemic, I was doing comedy in Brooklyn, which was pretty cool. And it was cool because, like, I'd always tell them, I'm like, guys, how do you want to be brought up? I'm like, just tell them I'm from Maine. And they'd be like, this next comic is from Maine. And then I'd walk up on stage and people would be like, did not know they came in that color. What? That shit's crazy. Maine's the whitest state in the United States. It's 98.2% white people. I'm Filipino, I'm Asian. It's 0.001% Asian people. So if you're going to power anything on Asians in Maine, you couldn't even start up your smartphone. And that's an old joke, guys. I moved to Brooklyn in 2013. I've been telling that joke since 2011. Back in the day, Maine was the second whitest state in the United States. Then I left. People say minorities don't make a difference. I did. Sometimes you just gotta leave. It's interesting, though. It's interesting. I got immigrant parents, and it's fun. It's cool. Fun thing about immigrant parents, if you didn't know, they love pure breeding their grandkids. It's very aggressive. My mom would always, like, I was growing up, my mom would be like, Marcus, we need to find you a nice Filipino girl. And I had to be like, Mom, you have to import a nice Filipino girl. What are you talking about? Get me one with Bluetooth. Get me a Plus. I have no idea. But yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, that pressure, like, definitely, like, added up a couple different things. But I am a Mainer through and through. I love Maine. I have a working class dad. My dad used to work at a paper mill. He used to work at Sappy, which used to be ST Warren, for 25 years. Hell yeah, 25 years. He's a hardworking man. People always think comedians are, like, truly troubled. And, like, the thing is, I got to, like, bond with my dad so much during this pandemic. Like, my dad almost had COVID. We thought he had COVID. He didn't have COVID, luckily. But it was so scary because the whole time, like, I didn't really, like, connect with my dad. I'm just trying to crack him and stuff like that. But we had to social distance the whole time for 2 weeks. We thought he was going to die. My mom would, like, put out food like it was his last supper. I'm like, Mom, don't poison his food, okay? Don't be Judas. But yeah, no, it was weird because, like, what ended up happening was we went from social distancing back to the normal close proximity emotional distancing. Like, I have an interesting relationship with my dad. My dad sacrificed a lot. Like, I respect my dad like I respect the Illuminati. Like, he wasn't really present during my childhood, but he funded the whole thing financially in secrecy. Like, I didn't like throw a ball with my dad, but I could afford like all the balls, It's interesting though. But it's funny. When my parents had like that pressure for me to like, date Filipino girls, it was really weird because I grew up in the 90s, so all my crushes were white girls. It was like all the girls next door, like, Kelly Kapowski, the Pink Power Ranger, the classics. But it was real weird, man. Like, I've like matured and stuff like that. And I think that you need some kind of tension to keep a relationship together. Like, everyone who's posted during the pandemic with their partner a photo that says, "There's no one I would rather be quarantined with," I'm like, that's Stockholm Syndrome. What are you talking about? You're a hostage. You got to get out, breathe some air. Well, it's real weird, man. But I do think you need some kind of tension to keep a relationship together, man. And, like, I've realized that, like, I love interracial relationships. I think that's the coolest thing. My parents thought it was so taboo. They thought it was, like, so weird. But whenever I see an interracial couple, I just see love. Like, really, that's it. Are you guys a couple? Yeah, see? I just see love. Guys, clap it up for love, guys. Front row, love right here, right in Lewiston, baby. Like I said, you need some kind of tension to keep a relationship together. And as I've gotten older, sexual tension fades. But racial tension's a pretty good substitute. If you're having a hard time laughing at that joke, that's what I'm talking about. I was hooking up with a Filipino girl one time. She's like, Marcus, I wanted to choke me, and I'm doing it. I look into her brown eyes. She looks into my brown eyes. I'm like, can't do this for the culture. A white girl asked me to choke her, was like, have I always been a monster? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm like, what's fueling this? And, like, all I did was, like, think about all the white women who voted for Trump, and it was at least, like, 52% more pressure. That's okay. You guys got tight on that one. That's interesting. It's funny. Like, I don't know the solution for racism, but maybe we start in the bedroom, work our way out. These two fuck way harder during Black History Month. I'm just letting you guys know that. He's, like, putting in work. He's like, repercussions. Yeah. See, they're laughing way harder about this, guys. Light up. It's chill. Yeah, no. I also grew up Buxton's a small town, and growing up in small towns is mad interesting because, like, you just, like, learn a couple different things about living in a small town. Like, the thing that, like, I, like, left my small town, and I realized, like, I have a lot of theories about love because, like, what I learned in most small towns is most love in small towns is just lack of other resources. Like, you just run out eventually. Like, I, like, don't like to over-romanticize things. Like, every time someone's like, oh, this is my high school sweetheart, all I hear is, even your relationships peaked in high school, It's aggressive. People over-romanticize a bunch of things. People over-romanticize comedy. I had a friend come say to me one time, he's like, Marcus, it's so brave what you do on stage. You just tell people how you feel. You're like an emotional stripper. Couple things. One, my friend has never been to a comedy club. Two, my friend has never been to a strip club either. Like, I crushed a couple punchlines right there. None of you guys were like whipping out cash and throwing it in my face. We should have made this stage rain. No one's like blown out their back, been like, tell some more jokes. Like, that's not happening. Two, if you like me in a lineup of comedians, you're not coming up to me afterwards and be like, hey, Marcus, I really liked your jokes. I got this private room in the back. I want you to tell jokes of me. Also, I'm going to bring more comedians. And I'm going to wear sweatpants so I can really feel these punchlines. You know? That's mad interesting. Today was, there's a big march for women's reproduction rights. I'm kind of a mama's boy. Hell yeah. Clap it up for women's reproduction rights. Hell yeah. No, I'm a radical feminist. I brought a skateboard to the women's march. It's cool. Radical. It's fine. Yeah. No, I have like weird opinions because I'm a millennial, man. It's weird. Like millennials, it's so cool. Like, you know, we've had like, you know, a once in a lifetime pandemic, a twice in a lifetime recession, a once in a lifetime terrorist attack. How lucky are we? It's fucking history, baby. It's weird. I don't know about my future. I'm always concerned. I love to live in the moment. I love to be really present. That's why I love doing comedy. Because like I don't know about the future. Like for me, if I read a real estate listing, that counts as fantasy fiction, you know? Like I'm not sure about the future. I'm real concerned about climate change. Like I do my part, yeah. Woo for climate change. I'm like, yeah, don't let out the carbon that you're adding. Stop. But it's crazy. Like I don't know. Like I try to care. I carry a metal straw with me, which seems like the right thing. But if it falls out of my bag, it looks like, yo, this man loves cocaine. Like that's the illusion. It's not good. But I've been trying to like figure out like what I'm gonna do for like, you know, climate change. Like I recycle. I do what I can. And like it doesn't feel like enough. I do big things. Like last year I drove a friend to an abortion clinic, like which is the most you could do for climate change, right? You got to keep the population down. That's the rule. And it's crazy. Like growing up, we all have like one friend that you think is gonna hit you up and be like, "Yo, we got to get rid of a body." I didn't think it'd be Charlotte, you know? She like hit me up. She's like, yeah, Marcus, we got to take care of something. I'm like, all right, who we whacking? I haven't given them a name yet. Like, that's the craziest part. But like, again, like I said, like I drove her to the clinic. I feel like I could have done more. The only way I could have done more is if I like piggyback ride her to the clinic. And that would have been two different like ways. One way over there would be like real philosophical. We'd be like, when does life actually start? And on the way back, it'd be like, oh my God, you're so much lighter. What is the weight of responsibility? Yeah, people tell me I shouldn't tell that joke. People tighten up on that joke. A lot of comedians are like, Marcus, you probably shouldn't do the abortion joke. And then the thing that I tell them is, you know, you don't bomb abortion jokes. You just miscarry the delivery. It's dark humor, man. It's dark humor. Oh, I am. It's been interesting. Yeah, you guys are fun. Thank you. Well, let's go darker. So like I said, I'm a feminist, and it's like interesting because like I grew up most, like I said, my dad was working all the time. I have two older sisters. I get along great with my mom, my two sisters. I get along with my niece better than my nephew. It's very weird. It's very interesting. What I like to do is I always like to, you know, applaud like, you know, women's achievements and stuff like that. And one achievement that I think is really weird that I will 100% root for is the first female mass shooter. I don't know why. It's just a really male-dominated field for some reason. Like, it's real weird because realistically, I just want to, like, you know, there is a glass ceiling in like every industry, but I just don't think it's bulletproof, you know? Like it's gonna be real interesting because like, you know what, like people are still gonna like say like certain things about like that whole situation. They're gonna be like, she doesn't even know how to hold a gun. She didn't even hit her targets. And this is a real thing. Cause like I'm just concerned. I just want to see that. I want to be part of her story. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see that. I want to be like the most like, you know, I want to be like super like over the top flamboyant, like a pink AK, just like and just like confetti and stuff like that. I have no idea why. This is just the fantasy. Yeah, it might have gotten too dark right there. If I inspired the shooter, I'm sorry. But just know I'm rooting for you. Anyway, guys, my name is Marcus Cardona. You guys have been fun. Enjoy the comedy show. Thank you again for Dirty Lou podcast and everything like that. And I'm happy to bring up your next comic. We've had Maine comics all the way up to now. This next comic We just performed together. He's fantastic. Coming all the way from Salem, Massachusetts. Guys, clap it up, 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 clap it up for Joe Flynn.
Let him know. Yeah, I did come up from Salem, Massachusetts, but I love coming up this way. I just love coming up to LA. I had a show in Auburn last week. I know some of you are probably thinking, what kind of idiot drives all the way from Salem, Massachusetts to Auburn, Maine to do comedy? It's an easy answer. A married idiot does that. My wife and I have been cooped up in the house since March 2020. I would have driven to Auburn University just to get the fuck out of the house. Now, before you feel too bad for my wife, let me tell you, she feels the exact same way. She started at about 9 o'clock this morning. Hey, don't you think you should head out? That's a long drive up to Lewiston. Why don't you head out? But I didn't. And I was running late, like I'm always running late. So I'm bombing up 95, about 90 miles an hour. I get just north of Portland. Thank you. I get just north of Portland, and I see this sign that I've seen before. It says, reduce speed to 45 miles an hour when flashing. Well, I was in a hurry, right? I couldn't afford to be late, so I just stuck my dick right back in my pants and kept going 90. My wife and I are both vaccinated. Thank you. But you know what? She still makes me wear a mask during sex. And it's not even the COVID mask. It's this Denzel Washington thing she went out and bought. That's a joke. We don't have sex. At least I don't. I don't know what she's doing while I'm up here, but... So I've recently been informed that I can no longer fool people by trying to tell them I'm middle-aged. Yeah. That revelation came from my daughter. She's 33. And she says, you know, I'm closer to middle-aged than you are. Yeah, fuck you. On a related note, my 33-year-old daughter is now paying her own fucking cell phone bill. Thank you very much. Thank you. But you know what? I have to admit she's right. Or at least I hope she's right. Because I'm 62 years old. If you tell me 62 is middle-aged, that's not good. I can't imagine that the skin tags, the ear hair, and the frequent urination is going to get any better over the next 62 years. If you told me I was going to live another 62 years, I would throw myself in a wood chipper. I've discovered, though, some things that happened to me since I started getting older. I've become that stereotypical grumpy old man. I have this increase in what I like to refer to as get off my lawn moments, which blows because I don't have a lawn. I have to keep an eye on my neighbor's lawn. The other day I chased some kids off. He didn't thank me. He said, leave my kids alone, you crazy old bastard. The other thing that I find myself doing all the time, and I made fun of my old man for this, but I use the expression in my day a lot. It's really, and I'll give you an example. In my day, when I was in college, we didn't have Cinemax. We didn't have VCRs. We didn't have the internet. What I'm trying to tell you, folks, is the first time I saw a porn movie, I was in a movie theater, folks. 5 drunken frat guys off to the Fine Arts in Worcester, Massachusetts to watch porn. Followed by an extremely awkward drive back to the College of the Holy Cross afterwards. Bless me, Father. In my day, if you got a young girl pregnant, you didn't call her your baby mama. You called her your first wife is what you called her. Your first ex-wife, in my case. In my day, you might see a beautiful girl walking down the street, like maybe long red or blonde hair. You might, messing around with your buddies, you might say, hey, you think the carpet matches the drapes? Now you're going to wonder if there's going to be a rug there at all. Am I right? Sometimes it's just this little welcome mat. I was watching Pornhub the other day, and this girl looked like Hitler down there, which was very disconcerting because I found out that my dick is a Nazi. Snapped right to attention and was goose stepping all over the room. It was awful. Call me old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned all you want. But in my day, we just accepted that once in a while we were going to spit out the occasional pube. It was just the way it was. So when I turned 60, I went back and took a look at the bucket list that I wrote when I was 50. Pulled that list out and immediately crossed a bunch of things off the list. Yeah, I looked at the list. I was like, wow, that one's never going to fucking happen. Pretty sure she died in 2006, so that one's out. And this one, marathon? I don't think so, folks. Not happening. I need a nap after I drive 26 miles. But there was one thing on the list that I actually checked off. One thing I was like, oh, this one I accomplished. It was number 7. And it was have sex with a member of a minority. I realized I could check that off because if you would fuck this, you are in the minority, let me tell you. Somehow the homeless Kenny Rogers look isn't getting it done for me. My wife hates that joke, folks. She says it's an example of me saying the wrong thing, and as luck would have it, she has a list of her own. Thanksgiving a while back, when all my nephews and nieces were little, I was at my brother's house watching the football game. Ref made a call I didn't like, and I yelled, "That's bullshit." Now my brothers and sisters are gesturing towards their kids, rolling their eyes at me. So I know I got to make it right. So I call the kids over. Kids, gather round. I'm sorry I said bullshit. Uncle Joe fucked up again, didn't he? Because I'm always saying the wrong thing. My wife and I were getting ready to go out. She looked in the mirror. She looked back at me, and she said, "I'm getting fat." Yeah. That night I learned that Me Too is not the supportive response that I thought it was going to be. Other non-acceptable responses are, "No shit." "What do you mean getting?" "And I'm sorry, baby, I thought you knew." I can't help it. I can't help but say dumb shit. My wife and I, my wife has this cousin. And one of these really, really hot days this summer, I suggested we go visit this cousin. Now, you guys are my friends. I can tell you, her cousin's a fucking asshole. Her cousin has an in-ground pool. So I suggested we go visit. And I'm having a great time. I'm flopping around in the pool, minding my own business. He decides to bust my balls. He stands over me and he's like, "Hey, I treated my chemical with that pool. You piss in the pool, the water turns blue." I just looked up and said, "Hey, that shit's not working." When I turned 50, I was all over social media when my wife turned 50, I was all over social media with that big event. Happy 50th birthday, big 50. Hashtag half a century. She wasn't amused. She didn't find this funny at all. So now I'm explaining myself again. I'm like, "Baby, you don't understand. You don't realize your 50th birthday is a milestone for me. You realize I have not had sex with a 50-year-old since I was 15? Thank you. Thank you. That was the year they transferred Father Bennett to another parish. So this is where I've crossed the line in the dirty Lou, huh? When you thought I was a 15-year-old kid banging a cougar, I was your fucking hero, but that's okay. Because here's the thing, folks. I say stupid shit, but, I've been up here quite a while telling you the stupid shit that I say. I admit to it. My wife says dumb shit, too. Here's an example. She's never driven a car in her life. She grew up in the city, has never driven a car, doesn't have her driver's license, never learned to drive. Have I made that clear? Okay. She tells me, sometimes in my dreams, I'm driving a car. So that means I must know how to drive. Baby, by that logic, I know how to get J-Lo to back that ass up. Because in my dreams, that's what she'll do for a Klondike bar. I give my wife so much shit, but she is my best friend. She's my biggest fan. She's the person I run my jokes by before I tell them on stage, right? So I told her the Klondike bar joke. She said, yeah, good luck and get a room full of people to believe you'd give up ice cream for any fucking reason, you fat bastard. So she won that round. But I told you she doesn't drive, right? But the guys will understand this. That doesn't stop her from criticizing my driving, does it? She's always on my case about my driving. I finally called her on it one day. I'm like, how can you criticize my driving? You don't drive. She says, well, Joe, you don't give blowjobs, but you're full of advice on that fucking topic, aren't you? It's cute. She thinks I've never given a blowjob. Father Bennett, right? Hey, you guys have been a wonderful audience. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring up your final comedian of the night. This guy is probably my best friend in comedy. He's a very funny man. He's a great comedy producer. He produces shows all over Maine under the auspices of Maine Event Comedy. You should check it out. He's a great guy. Please welcome Mark Turcotte.
Joe Flynn, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, what a cool venue. Dirty Lou Podcast. How you guys doing? Good? Everybody's having fun? This is awesome. Weed friendly. How fucking cool is that? Yeah, we get legal weed now. It's not like when I was in high school, man. I went to Lewiston High School. Yeah! Graduated back in 88, man. We had weed at Lewiston High School, too. It wasn't like the shit we have now. I'll tell you that. I'd buy a joint for $2, smoke the whole thing by myself, and go, I got a headache. I think it's working. Now we got that government-regulated shit. You take one hit. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe Pluto's not a planet. You want to fucking argue about that shit? Did you guys go to the Bicentennial Parade a few weeks ago? No? Everybody's fucked up. I went. I had to. I got paid for it. But I noticed there was like a lot of people on the Longley Bridge down here getting mad at the governor about the vaccine mandate. And they were pissed. They were like holding up signs like, my body, my choice. And they're yelling. They're all red in the face. And I'm looking at these signs and listening to their words, my body, my choice. And I got a good look at these people. Let me tell you something. Their body didn't seem like a priority in their life. Maybe it's the first time, And I was thinking maybe give somebody else a crack at that thing. They might be able to do you some good. And they got their kids involved. They got their unvaccinated kids holding signs, my body, my choice, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and you couldn't really hear the kids chanting because they were coughing. But, I thought it was quite a demonstration. I'm 50 now, you guys, and it sucks. Anybody over 50 here? I know there's like one dude. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? It sucks, man. A few of you are in your 40s, I can tell. You're approaching 50. It's not good. Here's what I can tell you. Dude, you ever have to cancel plans because of the way you slept? Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's like, sorry, Greg, can't go to the Sox game with you today. Last night I fell asleep with my head tilted slightly to the left. Now I'm in the hospital. They just read me last rites. I don't think it's going to end well. You know, my son goes, hey, Dad, can you help me move my couch? I'm like, of course I can help you move your couch, no problem. He goes, okay, I'll pick you up at noon. I'm like, what, today? Not fucking today. I need a week. I got to prepare. I got to stretch. You know, I got to do breathing exercises. I got to get right with the Lord before I help you move your stupid fucking couch, you know? Certain parts of the anatomy don't function like certain parts of the male anatomy don't function like they used to. Yeah, when you get in your 50s, you know? Like 20 years ago, my wife and I got a couple of kids. 20 years ago, we'd put the kids to bed. We'd be alone on the couch. I go, kids are in bed. We're alone on the couch. Maybe I'll make a move. Something might happen. Then I hit 50. Kids are gone to college. Same situation. I'm like, kids are off to college. We're alone on the couch. I hope she doesn't make a move. Because nothing's going to happen. Fucking sucks, man. It does. It's terrible getting old. I was unemployed for a little while. I know it's hard to believe after what you just heard from me. Unemployed for a little while, but I'm happy to report to you guys I finally got a job. Thank you. It's a government job, a job I didn't even apply for. It was offered to me, and I gladly accepted. You may have heard of it. It's called jury duty. You guys hear about that? Yeah, you show up and they pay you. It's a job, $15 a day. You know, and I didn't realize not everyone is thrilled about that until I met my fellow jurors, and we're in the deliberation room, and a woman stands up. She goes, I sell real estate. I could be making thousands in commission right now. Instead, I'm in jury duty making $15 a day. Another guy stands up, construction worker, wife and kids at home, no vacation time, making $15 a day. Then everybody goes around the room telling their sad story. Then they get to me. Like, I'm a stand-up comic from Lewiston. I'm making $15 a day. Times 5, that's like $75 a week. I just tripled my weekly income with jury duty, you guys. I think between the cookies I get from donating blood and the $15 a day I get from jury duty, fucking killing it in 2021, man. I love it. The job I had before I was unemployed was in radio. I worked in Oxford County. Anybody been to Oxford County in this room? Yeah. A little weird, right? A little terrifying. It's like going back in time, 50, 100, 200 years, something like that. What I learned about Oxford County, they're a very tight-knit group. Everybody knows everything about everybody in Oxford County. They know your spouse. They know your kids. They know what your kids are going to be when they grow up. It's fucking terrifying how close-knit they are in Oxford County. I had a morning radio show, country music radio show. And sometimes I'd get bored. I did the show by myself. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to open up the phone lines. It's now an all-request morning show. Give you an idea how popular my show was, sometimes no one would call. And in radio, you got to pass it off like everything's working, everything's great, you know? So I go, yeah, that was Toby Keith going out to Katrina in Rumford. Whatever, you know? 15 seconds later, I get a phone call. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to pull here, city boy, but ain't no Katrina in Rumford. Okay, no. Katrina lives out in South Paris. Not even much of a Toby Keith. More of a Garth Brooks girl, Katrina. So why don't you do me a favor and put on some Johnny Cash so I'll have something decent to listen to while I put the third coat of polish on my NRA membership card. Can you do that for me? That's how they talk. I learned a lot about country music, you guys. Anybody listen to country music in this room? A few of you? Yeah, you listen to modern or classic? Little classic? Yeah. What about you? You listen to them all. Yeah. We played modern country music, and I'll tell you something about modern country music, you guys. It's fucking terrifying, especially if you're a woman. Modern country music, a little date rapey. Okay? That's what I learned. I take it back. It's a lot date rapey. Modern country music. I figured it out. I listened to enough of it to learn that modern country music is 75% male artists singing about how much money they're going to have to spend at the bar to fuck the woman at the end of it. You know? And the other 25% female artists singing about how upset they are that they're not that woman. Michael Ray has a song called Kiss a Little More, Think a Little Less. Yeah, Michael meets a woman at a bar, fills her full of alcohol, and that's his line to her. Why don't we kiss a little more and think a little less? Yeah, because the less you think, the better the chance you won't remember. We're cousins. Right? Brad Paisley has a song called Ticks. Brad meets a woman at a bar, fills her full of alcohol, puts her in his pickup truck, goes down a country road into a field that only he's familiar with. Because you wouldn't want her to have an easy escape route, would you, Brad? No. And this is Brad's plan. Brad's going to take this angel, lay her down in a field of wildflowers, and check her for ticks. Oh, look out, Casanova. Someone's been thumbing through your notebook. Let me ask you something, Brad. Let me ask you something. When you have this angel laid down in this field, and you're working your magic, and you're running your hand up her inner thigh, and you feel something. You feel something that you hope to God is a skin tag. And then you realize skin tags don't have legs. You're going to be able to maintain an erection knowing you're not the only thing sucking on your date, Brad? I don't think so. Luke Bryan has a song called Rain is a Good Thing. This is how the chorus goes. Rain makes corn. Corn makes whiskey. Whiskey makes my baby feel a little frisky. In 3 lines, he goes from plowing a field to plowing a woman whose decision-making has been compromised by alcohol. I think Joe Nichols has the best of them all, though. Joe, you guys could probably finish the title of this one. Tequila makes her close. Joe's not even fucking trying. It's not even in the lyrics. It's right there in the title. I'm a fucking date rapist. Right there in the title. Well, Joe, some women like to be romanced. Maybe learn her first name before you got her face plastered up against the steering wheel of your Chevy pickup. And you're getting ready to launch a load of country boy ranch dressing on her Confederate flag, get her done tramp stamp. Maybe, Joe, maybe learn her last name before you go full Cosby on this poor woman. You know, the old joke used to be if you played a classic country song backwards, the guy would get his truck back and his dog back and his wife back. You play a modern country song backwards, the sex is consensual. Try it. It works. Yeah. I got to watch a lot of Netflix while I was unemployed. You guys, anybody a fan of documentaries on Netflix? I love that shit. I watched them all day. I saw one called Meet the Falcons. Anybody see it? No, you know why you didn't see it? It's because you're decent people. That's why. Meet the Falcons is not for everyone. Meet the Falcons is a story about identical twin sisters, Louise and Martine. They are 70 years old, and they have been prostitutes in Amsterdam for the past 50 years. And they've claimed to have satisfied over 355,000 men. That's when I realized this is less a documentary about prostitution and more about a sibling rivalry. Now, Louise has retired. Martine is still going. 70 years old, at least 3 clients a week. Think about Louise for a second, the retired one. Over the past 50 years, she slept with 177,500 men. If you break that down, that's 3,550 men a year, 296 a month, 10 a day. Guys, she fucked 10 guys a day for 50 years. And she's not even the biggest whore in her own family. What's a girl got to do? I think that's a great movie to watch for you ladies who are in a new relationship and you got to talk about your number. Right? You're with your new date. You're like, yeah, that's an interesting number you got there. Oh, me? Yeah, I fucked 10 guys, but not on a Tuesday. Spread it out a bit, you know? Spread it out. We got any dog lovers in here? Any dog fans? Who's got breeder dogs? No? All shelter dogs? You kidding me? Wow, good on you. I've owned both. I've owned breeder and shelter dogs. I got shelter dogs now, but I think I found the difference between the two. And tell me if I'm right, okay? This is my impression of a shelter dog.
Oh my God. I can't believe you picked me. I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to show you how much I love you.
Shelter dog. It's my impression of a breeder dog. Hey man, I shit in your shoes again. Where's breakfast? Pretty close? Right now, my wife and I have 2 dogs, 2 shelter dogs. One of them is named Nugget. He's an 18-pound Chihuahua Dachshund mix. You might be thinking, Chihuahuas, Dachshunds, 2 of the most annoying dog breeds on the planet, and you'd be right. But something happens when they fuck. They just mash all the annoying out of each other, and they create something awesome. And that awesome is Nugget. He's 18 pounds of awesome. He's my best friend in the whole world. And we had such a great time with Nugget. We went back to the shelter. My daughter fell in love with a 36-pound Basenji mix, and we named her Amber. And Nugget and Amber became best friends. And even the people at the shelter were like, this never happened. You hit the jackpot with these 2 dogs. It's awesome, right? And then my wife goes, we're having such a great time with Nugget and Amber. Why don't we get a 3rd dog? I'm like, honey, let's not. Let's not get a 3rd dog. Like, these guys were abused in their previous lives. Now they're enjoying some comfort and security. You heard the person at the shelter. We're doing great. Let's not jeopardize it by getting a 3rd dog. And I thought we had an agreement. I thought we had an agreement. And then one day, I'm sitting on the couch. Nugget is asleep in my lap. Amber is asleep to my side. I'm watching the game. And my wife is standing in the doorway of the living room looking at this Rockwellian scene of man and his 2 best friends, thinking to herself, how can I fuck this up? And she shows me a text on her phone. Julie at work is giving away Great Dane puppies. And I said, good for Julie. I hope they all find a good home. And my wife said, I want one. And I'm like, honey, no. We talked about it. We had an agreement. No more dogs. We talked about this. And then I had a show that night. I get home. Guess what's in the house? A 2-month-old female Great Dane puppy. Terrorizing Nugget and Amber. They won't come out from under the bed. And the Great Dane is eating all their food, chewing up their blankets, pissing on their toys. Fucking chaos in the house. Right? You were there. Apparently. And my wife's at work all day, so I got to watch the dog. She gets all the good stuff. She gets all the cuddles. I got to take this thing out every 5 minutes if I don't want the house smelling like Biddeford on a hot summer day. And it's got those puppy teeth, always chewing on something, so I got to keep giving it stuff to chew on, and pretty soon my wife's going to run out of shoes. And I'm going to have to buy dog toys, and those things are expensive. Plus, I think I mentioned, it's a Great Dane puppy. This thing doubles in size every 3 minutes. Right now it's so big it can be in 2 rooms at the same time. It's biting Nugget in the kitchen and whipping Amber with its tail in the living room. It's fucking chaos. And I'm losing my shit. And I'm like, honey, why? Why would you do this? Why would you bring this dog into our house? And she looks at me and she goes, well, she was free. And they usually cost $2,000. And I was thinking about getting one anyways. So I figured now would be a good time. I'm like, none of that. Like, we had a discussion. We had an agreement. And that's when I realized nothing I say makes any fucking difference. I lose every fucking argument we have. And I'm losing my shit. So I go outside to get some air. My phone rings. It's my buddy Greg. And he's like, what's up, man? And I tell him the whole story about the fucking Great Dane. And he goes, you need a night out. I'm like, you know what? A night out with Greg is never a good idea. But I did. I did need a night out. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. Fuck it, let's go. And we hit up like 5, 6, 7 bars. We end up at a strip club. And I'm like, Greg, I'm not much of a strip club guy. It's not really my scene. And he goes, nope, we're fucking staying. You're getting a lap dance. I'm like, Greg, I do not need a lap. He goes, you're getting a lap dance. So Greg starts throwing money around like he's in a goddamn rap video. Right? And I'm sitting down having a conversation with Cinnamon. Hi, Cinnamon. Just working your way through medical school. Didn't see that one coming. You're gonna be tough to get a job with that Metallica neck tattoo you have, but good luck. Cinnamon got herself a boob job, but she could only afford to get one of them done, so that was weird. But I did know which one to look at, And then she went crazy. She starts riding my thigh like she's a jockey coming around the home stretch of the Kentucky Derby. And that's when I realized I had enough. I had to get out. So I say bye to Greg. I get an Uber home, turn on the lights, open the door, dogs start barking. My wife wakes up. And she's at the end of the hallway looking at me. And I look down, and I realize I'm covered in glitter. And my wife's like, where have you been? And I'm like, honey, I'm going to tell you what happened. Me and Greg went out for a few drinks. We ended up at a strip club, and that's what happened. You are covered in glitter. Like, honey, I know. Greg got me a lap dance from Cinnamon, and she was aggressive. You had sex with a stripper? Like, honey, I did not have sex. I would never cheat on you. I did not have... You had sex with a stripper. And that's when it dawned on me. I never win. Never fucking win. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I did have sex with a stripper. But you know what? She was free. And they usually cost $2,000. And I was thinking about getting one anyway, so I figured now would be a good time. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
That was the Maine comedy event. Mark Turcotte, thank you. I also got a Great Dane puppy with my wife. Crazy you told that story. Pretty much panned out the same way. Mark Turcotte, Joe Flynn, Marcus Cardona, Jake Jacobson, Ben Roberts, and Sarah Poulin. You guys were awesome. Everybody, I want to thank you for coming out. Yes, we are the Dirty Lou Podcast. That was an awesome comedy show. You're welcome to hang out. We're just chilling. There's drinks, comfy couches and whatnot. Thank you again. It was awesome. Bye, guys.